Welcome back to part 2 of Rebooting Through Stillness. In part 1, Lloyd and Diego explored what it means to stop, unplug, and reset when life gets overwhelming. What about the beautiful things in life? The love, the dreams, the projects, the people that fill our cup too? In this episode, they talk about how even the good stuff can leave us stretched thin, and how the real challenge is learning to hold it all in balance. They explore what equilibrium really looks like and how letting go of the pressure to be strong all the time can actually make us feel stronger. Let's rejoin the conversation.
What I had taken back was my attention. I had taken back power of my attention. And I had given all of that attention to a nothingness, to a sense of stillness. The greatest gift I believe we can give ourselves is that moment of just reflection and connection with ourselves, because that is everything. And when you can connect with that, you can know a true power and a true purpose and a truth to yourself. All of a sudden, the noisy neighbors start to get a little quieter. And the sense of relaxation, it's almost like we're no longer in sympathetic survival kind of go. We got to get this X, Y done. We got to pick up the kids. We got to get this project done. All that, which has to happen because life dictates it. But now it's like, this is my time to completely switch off. And why do we avoid this? Why do we not give ourselves this? Well, society conditions us to keep going, right? It favors reactivity over presence and connection. Everything's fighting for our attention. So giving ourselves this moment to actually go, well, this is my time now. And having the awareness and the tools to be able to mindfully go through that process and noticing the resistance is not always easy, but the end product is the glass is empty and there's no spill. And I can arrive into this week affreshed. I didn't even know if that's a word, affreshed, but I've just made it one. So there you go. Put that one in your dictionary. We arrive affreshed, rebooted. So the day-to-day, the active rate relaxation, the yoga, the waking up and journaling in the morning, and like you said, taking charge of the day, and all those tools that we do on a day-to-day basis to keep the water level in check is great. It's awesome. But sometimes there's too much water coming in. And I find, in my experience, the best way to be able to come back to a sense of equilibrium again is to do a purposeful and mindful sitting with a period of nothingness and just being open to that experience. What's coming up for you when I'm talking about that?
I got a question. When you have that moment on Sunday, were you able to see what was filling the glass with perspective? Were you able to have a dimension of what you're putting in your glass? Did you need to ditch some things that you were doing, or you have a different perspective of what coming in your glass and it wasn't actually too much, but it was like it was an illusion that it was too much? I don't know. Those different options, but it could be something that I'm not saying. But did you have like some sort of message when you were with yourself, or only the contemplation was enough to empty the glass?
Yeah, good question. There was definitely a noticing that I was judging how I had arrived at the situation. What had caused me to overfill the glass? What was I doing? What needed to change? Now, in my experience, that's never a good thing for me to spend time in that, interpreting the things that led me there, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is that I accept that I'm in this space, right? Acknowledging the messages that alerted me to the need to slow down and then taking the necessary action mindfully to decompress from that.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, yeah, if I spent time analyzing the things that led me there, it's most likely going to cause me more stress because I'm going to go, oh, I will start, the judgments will start to come in, and I'll start to, the noisy neighbors will chip in again. Oh, well, you pushed too far here, you silly boy. You should have taken a break when you shouldn't be, you're overcommitting in this area of your life. You need to pull back from there. And this was me for a long time, many years. I would have these boxing matches with myself, and that just never led me anywhere than more stressed. It's like on stress. So I found a more helpful way is to accept that I've got into this situation and trust that I have the tools and I have enough trust in myself effectively to be able to manage my way out of it. And if there is a learning from it, allow that process to happen naturally and not forced.
Hmm.
Does that
Nice.
make sense?
Yeah, nice. It's like a resetting, forgetting about the past, don't being what you got in the present, and start from the present, and then start again. And yeah, obviously you start a journey again that will probably end up in another glass at some point, but
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
but it doesn't really matter. It's just that,
No,
yeah,
because I'm still getting shit done, Diego. I'm still,
yeah, of
the
course.
things that I was doing to fill up my glass in the first place were purposeful activities that enrich my life, that give me a sense of purpose. Now, for some people, that might be a job they really enjoy, or it
Yes.
could be running their kids around from activity to activity because they really enjoy spending time with the kids. But then they've also got to go home and cook dinner. And so it looks very different for a lot of people. Whatever it is that you're doing, as long as you're enjoying it and it's enriching your life. Like for me, in my case, the things that led me to feeling like I've overfilled my cup were all good things. So no need to change those things. No need to judge them or assess them or critique them or do any of that. Just accept that that's just the reality of getting shit done. But
Yeah.
when the messages come knocking, notice them, and don't be afraid to sit with them and give them the space that they need to unfold. And the only way that you can really fully do that in a way that fully empties the cup, I believe, in my experience, is to give yourself a dedicated time of stillness. Now, for some people listening to that, that might seem like a stretch, and I can understand that because I didn't arrive to this exercise on Sunday, you know, like I knew how to do this. This takes practice for me anyway, over a period of time of screwing up,
Mm.
getting it wrong a lot of the time.
So,
Just do small stages at first. Even 5 minutes is better than nothing. Just sit and just go, all my distractions are out the window. Maybe even have a pen and piece of paper because that can be helpful, particularly if you've got emotions and feelings that are coming up for you that are quite powerful and maybe a little uncomfortable. And if you're new to this sort of thing, and well, I listened to Lloyd the other day and he recommended, that sounded like something I'd like to work on. Start with small steps. Don't
mhm.
dive in and don't force yourself through discomfort any longer than you need to until you're ready to.
Yeah. Yeah, I was lucky. Oh, well, glad to hear that the activities that fill your cup were of positive ones, because at some point in my head, I was always thinking that we fill up the glass with stressful stuff, but not necessarily stressful stuff. This is stuff that we do and we love, but also with stuff that we love, we can also get into a stressful situation, right? Because we are taking too much, or we are giving a lot of our time to something that, or and not to others, or some. So that's a good one, because I wanna share something that bit vulnerable, but yeah, I just this in the last 2 weeks I've been in the process of accepting a new love to my life, or to open up to love, which is very interesting, because talking about the glass, when you start a process like that, suddenly your glass starts filling up very quickly, of energy, of time, or attention, or and and love came in a moment where I'm actually running quite full already. However, I have the chance to look at the glass and see what can I do to actually allow that to happen without being a conflict. Because straight away when love comes to me, I feel like, oh, where's my freedom going? But what's freedom? And if you are choosing, and all of that dance of in the brain about attention, how much time of yourself you do, how much you want, and suddenly your body wants a lot of that, and then you disregard other roles like your fatherhood or things that you're running. So what I'm trying to say, all these last 2 weeks was very, very interesting how I was looking at that glass and that was filling up with love, actually, most of it. That was amazing. But it's still the glass fills up.
Mm.
And and it, and at some point it could be counterproductive, all right? Because that adrenaline of a new love, that adrenaline of joy and also is quite addictive, or at least for me. So you want more of that, but you still have to look after the other choices you made and everything that you're running, all right, until you make other choices. But what I'm trying to say is that the glass doesn't fill up always with problems or with things that are out of, they could be full of beautiful moments and full of happiness, but it also spills. And then there's a responsibility on that. So I wanted to highlight this because it also creates a stress, even though it's beautiful time. So it's very important, in my point of view, to assess that level of the glass and have presence on that understanding, because even a very beautiful situation can actually spill your glass and 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 have consequences on all the contents of the glass and also on your emotional life. Yeah. Does it make sense?
Definitely makes sense. And my question is just a little bit of context. So, is this the first experience of love, of a new relationship since you separated from your wife?
No, it's not. I have a couple of other experiences with love, with different learnings.
And in this experience, you mentioned the stress of new love. Interesting concept.
Did I say that?
No, well, in a roundabout way, I guess you mentioned that it is kind of stressful, but
It, it, it,
maybe
it,
not
it,
necessarily the elements of the new love, but that it brings something into your life that kind of um you know, our relationship is work, right? It does take work, right? It takes
yeah,
attention, right? It takes your time, it takes your emotional energy, good and bad, right? So
yep.
it's exciting, yeah. But then you've also got to adjust the time for that into the rest of your schedule. So is that what the stressful part for you is?
It's a time, it's an emotion as well. There is I don't know, for me it's like, wow, I want to be fully immersed in this experience. So it's the awareness. So far I'm very happy with what's happening, but I realized that I needed to every day check in on that level, and am I bringing enough attention to all the areas of my life, or I'm lost in that very beautiful loving situation, all right? Or can I can I actually give a little bit of the same spirit of joy and love to everything else? So what I found is that because I've been in touch with these loving moments, I could actually bring a little bit of that love to the other aspects of my life. So I said, okay, if I'm feeling this here, okay, let's spread out that love to everything else that I'm doing. So I don't fully prioritize what's new, and I keep also what I already have and what I've already chosen in terms of activities, I can actually also elevate them to that level of love. All right. So I could love this activity that's a podcast with you. I can love my relationship with my kids. I can love my household with a lot of people. I can love my body, my health. And so then, and then there is romantic love that is brewing as well. So, wow, that was a great way. But the only way I was present on that is that I had to consciously stop and understand what's happening and why and what am I doing. And
Does the stress come from the interpretation or the anxiety that perhaps one area of your life is going to suffer because of this love, or is
yeah,
it something else?
yeah, and obviously the past comes in, and in terms of how much I give of myself to relationships, and how lost I could potentially get into, and so and how adaptable sometimes I am in that realm, and those are things that are already worked on it, or they are very present on myself. So I try not that to be like the big fear, but I'm aware. So I'm aware that I can lose myself on relationship. I am aware that I can shift principle values that I have into relationship. I'm aware that I can change habits because of relationship. I'm aware that I can sort of pay less attention to other choices that I made in life unconsciously because of relationship. So all of those things are like checklist points for myself. And also what I do, I try to bring it to the relationship as well, like not in a boring way, but every now and then I actually mention that that's what I'm dealing with as well. So it's not hidden. It's not something that I do on my own, but it's something that I do on my own, but I share that this is what I'm dealing with. So it's on the surface, all right? So we all understand. Because we all dealing with something, all right? And in so that was what I was realizing, and very linked, extremely linked to the topic that we're talking about, that sort of overflowing of stuff. It could be task, it could be love, it could be feelings, it could be anything.
Trying to balance everything is often a tricky thing, right?
Yeah, and there's love is not different from any other activity in a way. It has a different feelings, and but it's also a place where many areas of our lives and our past and our traumas and everything they start getting active, all right, and then they can easily get into play again.
And how does it feel to just reflect on the process? You mentioned that in the past you've been aware that you've lost yourself, I think was the word that you in love or in a relationship. And what is it like to then tell me that you're noticing an awareness now to spread your love evenly, all of the things that are important to you in your life? What is that like?
Yeah, I understood that there is no wall. I understood this is only an understanding. Now it has to be incorporated in life, by which I'm trying. That there is no best way to be in love. That being in love is not only with the person, it's being in love as a being. That's being being love, spreading love everywhere you go, and including romantic relationship. So that's a way of being, and the way to show up in a romantic relationship is when you are solid on you, and you don't need anything from the relationship to fulfill you. What you're doing with the relationship is creating another entity that is in the middle of both, that is called relationship, and we both put things on that, and all right. It's a creation that you do with. This is not a truth. It's what I play with. So I played on creating a third entity that's called relationship. Diego as a whole and the other person as a whole, or the way we can show up. But we look after that relationship. There's a third thing. It's like a little baby, like the podcast, all right? And there's the relationship. And so you don't take from the relationship to your convenience, or you need the other person to complete you. No, we are both responsible for this entity that's called the relationship. So I felt like showing up to that, I need to show up as a full me, not as a version of me that is not fully me, just to look good or look in a certain way. Yeah, so all of that is a big responsibility for me, and I pay a lot of attention, um, because I haven't seen, well, I haven't been in relationship, especially in my marriage, based on this principle. So in my marriage, I was probably wanted the other side of this contract to fix things for me.
Fix parts of you, you mean?
Yeah, or to help me fix.
And you arrive into this new relationship with a greater sense of yourself. You're standing on solid ground a bit more with that.
I hope so. You never know, but
Well,
I try to believe that, yes, but time and the experiences will tell me how ready I was.
and
Because you never know, but I try to think I am, yeah.
how will you know when you're spreading your love evenly between all the things that are important to you in your life? When you love, let's call it love or love after marriage, how will you know when that's not balanced for Diego? And how will you, what tips or strategies do you think of that will help you to maintain equilibrium across all the important things in your life, because they're all equally important, no?
I think it's not any different from what you mentioned before. I think it's not any difference from anything else. I think it's just allowing yourself to reflect, allowing yourself to be vulnerable on moments where you're not very sure what's happening, or when you feel like your glass is reaching the top, and sharing it in the when the things are shared like a relationship. Well, the advantage is that if there's a disadvantage and an advantage. The disadvantage is if there is no communication and both sides are not communicating, the communication and the whole thing can take like a very wrong direction, all right? Because yeah, there's forces, your force plus the other person's force that distorts the whole thing. When you have your own project, it's only you that deals with that. But when in relationship is two, but also the relationship in the positive side, when you are in the same boat, or you have an agreement and communication, you can actually bounce into each other and check each other's, all right, with if you manage to have that level of openness, all right, and vulnerability. So that's what I want to get. It's not that I want to get, but that's what I want to create in general on relationships. So just a place where there is enough vulnerability where we can operate and bring to the relationship all of that without strategies or tactics, or without holding back.
Is there room for compassion if you don't always get it right, Diego?
Oh, and the same as everything, the same as every other thing. It doesn't need to be.
What
It
does that
doesn't.
look like for you? Let's frame it in the context of new love. New love is exciting. It's new. It's a beginning. It's all of those things. So in some ways, it's like you're forgiven to put a little extra attention on this, and some of those other areas in your life might not get so much of attention, right? Is that understandable? It is to me. Is it acceptable to you?
Well, that's one of the points. That's the point that yes, there is attention, that is time, especially or opportunities where you need to juggle more where your energy goes, all right? So the way I try to do it is to make sure everybody's on board, everybody that is around me is on board of what's happening to me. And also, obviously, I'm caring what's happening to the other people. But for example, I went to my kids and I said, well, this is happening to me now. And it's very likely that I might not be that available as I was before. However, let me know if you need more time
And
or
communication is important, isn't it? In
because
that
it's
in that communication, you're also expressing a vulnerability.
and I said, for example, yeah, I'm going on a trip for 3 weeks, all right? And this is a new love. And these 2 weeks I have my kids with me and my whole full household and this situation, all right? And all the other activities. So as an example, I said to my kids, well, I said to my daughter actually, what happened these weeks is that I'm gonna spend less time maybe in the house because I'm going on a trip and trying to complete everything that I'm on. And also I have this new relationship that is creating. So I feel that it's important that I spend more time or addressing that new relationship because of these circumstances. And as I said, but if you need me or if you need something, please let me know. But I would like to tell you that I might not be that available this week.
Nice.
And so we know, all right. And also plans can change, and I can do anything, but at least there's an awareness, and everybody a little bit knows about that. And
Yeah.
also give opportunity for other people, for my daughter to actually express something similar to me whenever it comes, all right?
And that goes a lot deeper too, because the person that you are talking to is going to most of the time be like, oh yeah, well that's great. Dad's got a new love, and very supportive of that. And if it means that he hasn't got enough time for me for a little while, that's okay. I'm really happy. I'm happy, right? Um,
Yeah, but that's a way. What I'm saying, Lloyd, that's a way of probably this is dialogues with people, all right? But when you have the full glass with activities, your creations, you can actually have that dialogue with, I don't know, project A. I'm going to spend more time with project B because this is happening. And project A, can you please hold for a while? Project C is coming. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
The
and I think that's difficult. That's been very difficult for me in the past to firstly communicate to others that I'm struggling and my glass is full, but if I ask for help, then that's a sign of weakness or vulnerability or no, it's okay, I've got this. I'm gonna keep riding the level of that glass with total disregard for myself, for my well-being, because I cannot seem, I need to maintain a sense of everything's under control and Dad's got this.
Mm.
That was the old me. Right now, the newer me, while it's still a work in progress and doesn't always happen that way, I screw it up from time to time. Most of the time, I'm a lot more comfortable to reach out and say, "Hey, Dad can't give you attention right now. I'm overwhelmed with a few things I've got going on." And that feels a lot better to openly communicate that. And it also sends a message to them too. And I'm talking about my children here. And in your case, you might be talking about your children too. I think you might be. It sends them a very strong message that we don't gotta have it all figured out. We don't have to have shit covered all the time. We're not expecting mountains and miracles from ourselves. So it's okay for you to not have to either.
Yes.
And in a society that's experiencing increasing levels of burnout, stress, overwhelm, this is a message everyone's could do with starting to believe. I can let go of trying to maintain equilibrium in the glass and keeping that water level full without spilling over, I can let go of that for a little while, take care of myself, communicate it to other people that I can't be across everything right now. I need help. Would you help me? And then we can spend some time with that and acknowledge that and be open to that. And it's a very powerful message to send ourselves and to our system to slow down, to quieten down, like I did on Sunday, like you're doing with the messages to your children this week. And give a little attention to emptying the glass a bit so it doesn't spill over and we don't end up in burnout. And anyone that's experienced burnout, like I experienced last year, it is not a very nice place to go through. It's hard and it's totally unnecessary most of the time. But if we do find ourselves in there, that's not the end of the situation. You can work through that, but it is really it's avoidable and it's
very beautiful what you said, and you summarized everything so good, Lloyd. I love it. I love it. I would like to add a disclaimer of all of this, because first of all, everything that we talk and I personally talk, it is what I consciously try to do. So I do it and put it in practice. It not always work. It's working. I'm not talking from this is what I every day do. So that's what I'm dealing with, and I'm very present. But there is an ingredient here that needs to happen, especially, I don't know why, but I'm gonna say, especially for men. And to do all of this work, there's a high degree of vulnerability, and that vulnerability looks like weakness for some of us. And for me, when I changed that, when I started to believe on vulnerability, and that's not a weakness, I got stronger. Somehow I got stronger, and I started to look stronger to everybody around me. So I believe I was strong, I was not. Now that I work on being more vulnerable, open my heart, I feel stronger. So I don't know if it makes sense, but that's how I feel.
So you thought you were strong by not being vulnerable.
Or to keep a show going.
And now that you experienced vulnerability and being open to that, you feel you're strongest. Wow. Beautifully put and really inspiring. Well, we've covered a lot of ground again today, Diego, and it's been a fascinating conversation. I've really enjoyed where we've gone today, and I hope that it's been enjoyable for others. Any final takeaways before we wrap up?
Oh, I think I wanted to finish with what I just said.
Beautiful.
And yeah, thank you, Lloyd. That was again very inspiring. Thank you, man.
Wonderful. Look forward to seeing you in episode 6.
Yes, probably from the other side of the world.
Wonderful. See you then.
Bye-bye.
That's a wrap on this episode of What No One Told Us. If you got something out of it, hit subscribe. And remember to share it with someone you care about. We've got more real conversations coming your way. So stay tuned and remember to be kind to yourself.